From fox2now.com we get this story. Alton, Illinois police chief says his officer's behavior inside a home this past January is unacceptable. Fox 2 News showed a video of an officer throwing an axe inside the house and knocking a mirror off the wall.
Alton police officers. One throws an axe, knocks a mirror off the wall. You can hear them rummaging around in other rooms. One officer appears to be looking for something. Another puts his gloves on, looks along the wall, and grabs what appears to be a milk jug. He hands it to the other officer, asking if he wants it. You can see at least 3 officers in the home at times. They're sometimes laughing with each other while looking at things. One officer eventually walks right up to the camera and knocks it over. It happened here at Jonathan Clark's house on Rickson Street, January 2021. He did not go public right away because he told us he first hoped to find out who the officers were and why they were here.
These policemen were in their bedroom. That should be the most secure place that you have in the world.
Chief Polito says the names and some details of discipline remain confidential under state law and union rules. But he says they've never hidden anything. And he says he can prove he provided the relevant police report to Clark and his attorney and did not stonewall them. However, the chief says officers did have a reason to be at the house on Rickson. A police report says January 9th, a neighbor reported homeless subjects squatting in the residence and that it had been deemed unfit for occupancy 30 days prior. The Fox files pulled tax records to show taxes are paid in full every year, but conditions at the home are such that the homeowner faces an August court date for an ordinance violation of unfit living conditions. Murphy says the department offered $1,000 for damages.
I think it's a joke. A joke. They destroyed part of his home.
He's failed to get answers, and so has an attorney he just hired.
Complete stonewall. I haven't got any response. I haven't got a return phone call from anyone. I don't know why they were there.
Should there be a police report that says why they were there?
Of course there should be.
And is there?
Not that I know of. Not that they have produced in response to any of my FOIA requests. I would like to know who the officers were, what their official purpose was. I'd like to know why they were really there, because I bet why they were really there isn't what their official purpose was.
Murphy says it now appears only a lawsuit will get answers. We tried to get answers about why police were here by looking at court records, and we found the homeowner does have a court date for an ordinance violation, unfit living conditions.
And according to my clients, the house is in poor repair, but they are constantly working on it. He also works a full-time job.
In fact, Clark was supposed to be at this interview today, but canceled because he had to work. We called, emailed, and visited Alton Police Headquarters to get answers. We asked for the chief or anyone who could provide answers.
I am embarrassed by our officers' actions. This is not something that we promote, and this is not something that we are going to accept.
Alton Police Chief Marcos Polito said he immediately investigated this January 2021 incident in which his officers acted strangely at times, laughing, axe throwing, and other property damage.
I not only ordered the internal affairs investigation, but I also imposed discipline prior to this story even coming out.
He said officers were suspended for violating Alton police policies involving conduct and performance and acts on or off duty that bring discredit to the department.
Accountability goes from the top down. So I'm embarrassed to talk about this, but I think it needs to be said because I do want people to know that this was something that was not swept under the rug.
The police report says officers arrived to find a building and zoning placard that said unsafe for human occupancy, and both the front and rear door were slightly ajar. Once inside, the officers reported finding 5 people in the home, including 2 people hiding in the attic.
Those people were allowed to leave. However, the behavior by the officers after those people left was completely unacceptable.
For the Fox Files, I'm Chris Hayes.
So now we know what cops do when they're in your home and you're not there. When you're not present and they're searching something or they have to go into your house, now we know what they do inside the home. These cops showed us just what cops do when they think nobody's looking. But when they found out somebody was looking, what do? They knock the camera over and say, "Ooh, let's get out of here, guys." And they were suspended. Because if you think this is their first rodeo, you're crazy. These cops do this kind of stuff all the time. They didn't just all of a sudden go, "Hey man, let's have fun in this house while we're here." These cops do this kind of thing all the time. It just happens that they got caught on camera. Community Leo Watch wants to know what you think. Should they have been suspended like they were, or should they have been fired? Watching Leos, that's law enforcement officers, to include clowns in costume and from coast to coast.